Working together to safeguard children. This document is produced to give guidance to local areas. So it's the responsibility of the local authority, ICBs, integrated care boards, and the police to formulate what we call a descriptions of need plan, a kind of guidance to practitioners so that they understand what are the levels of need that children and families have, difficulties in their existence, where we can support them. And often some people will see that within that guidance, and it's familiar with lots of people's, local areas will have a level of needs document, and it kind of spells out in there all the various elements and factors where we need to be looking at. And if you look at that from a child developmental needs kind of point of view, that's around health and education being quite key, the things we kind of expect, but then certainly from a parenting capacity, what's going on with a parent that might be influencing some difficulties in that family household and impacting the child. And again, from a family and environment point of view, all the kind of things that we know can be difficult in a family's kind of situation where we might need to make an intervention. Now, in that document, and it's fairly, recently been reproduced, there's not one single mention of gambling at all, and it's 168 pages. And, this is something if you know me, you'll know I'll talk about this a lot. I would really love to see this change, because as a practitioner, as a youth worker, I didn't see it. And then sometimes, unfortunately, we do have to be explicit about these things to be asked. And if I think about child exploitation and ACEs in particular, these weren't in our common language until we were told about them and encouraged to learn about them and embed them into our practice. So we will, keep kind of mentioning the 10-point plan, and it's in those centre pages of your stakeholder documents. We want you to look at them, read them, and ask yourself, what from that 10-point plan key issues could you build into your practice or your organisation? So what do we do in terms of our early intervention work going forward to address some of these issues? And the 10-point plan is a really good starting point. Everyone will know, or some people will, that we've kind of created a range of initiatives that looks at gambling-related harm. And again, going from the youth workers' point of view, if you haven't got a youth offer, I'd question what is your offer? Because without that, we're talking about prevention. If we don't think about young people first, just really struggle with it. But thankfully, working with GamCare and the Young People's Gambling Harms Prevention Programme, we do have a very good offer. And whether you're a youth worker or a school, you can get free education. We can go in and do some work there. If you're a youth practitioner, again, there's specific training for you. We developed a programme some years ago now called Breaking the Shadow, loosely translated Breaking the Shame. So working with the South Asian community, seen as a more vulnerable group. But actually we're moving that on now to a more diverse communities-led piece of work. And again, Dave has mentioned a lot about the workplace charter, but I would say fundamentally, if you think about it, we said about 85% of organisations have got a drug and alcohol policy. About 5%, 10% if we're lucky, have got a gambling arms policy. That's not right, that needs to change. And then working with criminal justice, and there's good reflections of the work we've been doing in the stakeholder booklet. And it mentioned by Emily Spittle, we're working closely with Whiteside Police in particular, but all our police authorities across the North West to help those practitioners understand where gambling may be a factor when someone presents in custody. And then more recently, we're doing some work with our armed forces community, and there's information today, you can find out more about that. So it gives you a flavour of some of the initiatives that we've been doing. And as I say, if you're interested in the Young People's Programme, it's kind of what I always come back to because I'm a youth worker, you can go and find out more about that programme via the GamCare website. You can download fact sheets. There's really useful things there about talking to young people, starting a conversation. But the biggest thing is get in touch with us and we'll come and do some work with you. Yes, the workplace charter again, I just want to kind of focus a little moment on that, is that this for me is the game changer. I see one of our best initiatives really, and I'm not sure how many organisations are here today, but I would love people to go away and email me next week or Dave and say, we are interested in this, because it's not difficult to do. And at the end of the process, it's about changing culture, training, developing policy. But what it also does is it recognises the good effort that you've put in. So it's not a standard, but it's a recognition that you are doing something positive in your practice. So please think about the workplace charter. We've had heaps and heaps of organisations, go through this process. What you can see there is some. I'd like to times that by 10. So please, think about that. Coupled with all our work, and I'm getting close to my time, is our Bet You Can Help programme, our flagship training offer. And as it mentions there, we do focus on those kind of key groups, those target groups that we have more concerns with because of their vulnerabilities. So the Bet You Can Help programme is it is the only accredited programme in the UK. So you can do a full day programme, which is a level 2 award in tackling gambling-related harm, accredited by the Royal Society of Public Health. Or if you don't have the time, you can do Bet You Can Help Now, which is a 1.5-hour session. So if you've never had any gambling harms training before, please, this is maybe your time to think about it.